With the maid's efforts, she successfully helped me suck out the fish bones through kissing. I felt a bit shy about the maid's behavior, and asked her to hand me the fish to eat for myself. After finishing the fish, just as I was about to rest, the maid wanted to do something intimate with me. I quickly stopped her, and told her to come back to the basement tonight. After the maid left, I used the skills I learned to try to unlock and escape. Can I smoothly execute my plan? After climbing onto the bed, in order to help Moen solve the problem of the fishbone getting stuck in his throat, and used a kiss to suck out the fishbone, she gently placed her hand in Moen's palm and kissed him earnestly. However, Moen was not as calm as Anne. His hands were trembling slightly, as if Anne's behavior had made him very nervous. As Anne kissed Moen, a large blush slowly spread across her face. She looked at Moen with very affectionate eyes, and tried hard to suck out the fishbone from Moen's throat. She gently pressed her hand against Moen's chest, so that she could exert her strength. She narrowed her eyes slightly, seemingly enjoying the process of kissing. However, at this moment, Moen's expression looked a bit uncomfortable. He tightly grasped Anne's arm, while forcefully enduring Anne's persistent drawing of a large amount of air from his mouth. His face was getting redder, and he felt like he was about to lose oxygen. Finally, the kiss is over, and reluctantly distanced himself from Moen. A silver thread with a first-class mouth connected her and Moen's mouths, looking very ambiguous. It's like she just finished a very happy thing with Moen. They were all constantly panting, letting their bodies feel the fresh air. Moen gasped heavily while speaking to Anne. "Can you let me know in advance before you pounce next time? I can make some psychological preparations in advance." And stuck out her tongue, panting while apologizing to Moen. "Sorry, leaving the young master for too long. I couldn't hold back. However, young master, look, the fishbone is here. Young master can eat with peace of mind. No matter how many times you get stuck with fishbones, I will suck them out for you." And looked at Moen with a gentle expression. She stuck out her tongue and showed him the fishbones on it. She successfully sucked the fishbone out of his throat. At this moment, Moen's cheeks still had a slight blush. He felt a little shy. He turned his head aside and raised his hand to cover his mouth. As he had just finished kissing, he dared not look directly at her for the time being. He said nervously, "Well, thanks. Give me that plate. I can eat it myself. I won't get fishbones stuck in my throat." And handed the plate placed next to Moen. Moen picked up a spoon, quickly dug out the fish meat, and put it into his mouth. He ate one bite after another. Due to his fast eating, his cheeks bulged. In no time, the two fish quickly ate half of it. Watching Moen eat so well, and felt very happy, she showed a gentle smile. Soon, Moen finished both delicious fish. He handed the plate to Anne sitting by the bed, then closed his eyes, and lay down on the bed very casually. He contentedly touched his bulging belly, and then let out a soft burp. He couldn't help but praise these two fish again. No wonder this is considered the Empire's most famous dish. The taste is really good. And held a plate filled with fish bones in one hand. and covered it with the lid in the other. At this moment, she suddenly mentioned something to Moen. Since the young master has finished his meal, shall we do that thing? That thing? Although Moen was calmly talking to Anne in bed, he felt a little uneasy in his heart. Following the orders of the head of the family, Duke Ron, young master and I will soon give birth to a child for the Campbell family. And seemed to want to do this the moment he entered Moen's room. She quickly unbuttoned her clothes. Then, she lifted her hands and untied the headband tied to her hair. A part of the white twin peaks appeared before Moen's eyes and trembled slightly with her movements. She looked at Moen with a slightly shy expression and couldn't wait to do intimate and excessive things with him. Seeing Anne taking off her clothes, Moen felt a bit flustered. His face quickly took on a large blush. He extended his hands and quickly closed Anne's clothes together. He said nervously, Wait a minute, not now," and noticed Moen's movements and stopped taking off his clothes. She said with some confusion, "Oh?" and tightly grasped her clothes, seeming a little angry at Moen's behavior. She quickly approached Moen, looking at him with a dissatisfied expression and questioning him. "We have done it so many times this week. Is it possible that the young master has already started to feel tired of me?" Noticing that Anne was approaching him again, Moen slowly took a few steps back with a nervous mood. He tried to explain to Anne, "No, it's not that problem." However, Anne interrupted Moen's words. "If not, what is the reason for that?" Moen turned his head to the side, trying to avoid Anne's gaze. He raised his hand and covered his mouth, as if feeling a little shy. He explained to Anne, "I just finished eating. Experts say that exercising after meals is not good for the body. You must be tired from the long journey, and back and forth. We are not in our best condition. Children born in this way are also unhealthy. Can you understand what I mean?" As Anne listened to Moen's explanation, she buttoned up the buttons on her clothes, realizing that Moen seemed to be considering her body, and lifted her hands and covered her mouth, feeling deeply moved. She looked at him with affectionate eyes and said to him, "Young master, are you concerned about my health?" Moen noticed that Anne seemed to have misunderstood his words into something else. He said to her, You can also understand it that way. Anyway, I think we should do that kind of thing tonight, okay?" And stood up from Moen's bedside. She tidied up her clothes and calmed down her emotions. She closed her eyes and placed her hands on her abdomen, calmly speaking. Young master's words make a lot of sense. Tonight is okay. Since it's scheduled for the evening, I have one more thing to report to the young master. Moen is a bit confused about what Anne said. "Report to me? What is it about?" As Anne walked slowly towards Moen, she lightly brushed his hand over his blanket. "On my way back, I passed through the city of Service. It is the upper-class town known for its textile technology, which customizes clothes for the royal family and nobles." Moen nodded. And then?" And walked over to Moen and gently bent down. She leaned close to his ear and continued speaking softly to him. "I bought a very close-fitting piece of clothing, which is the young master's favorite black silk material. This garment is a glossy bodysuit, and comes with a small accessory. I heard that this is the most popular style for maids in underground dance venues recently called Bunny Girl. After listening to Anne's words, Moen slowly widened his eyes and blushed again. Gloss, black silk, Bunny Girl. In Moen's mind, he imagined Anne wearing black stockings and revealing her slender legs to him. She was dressed in a form-fitting bodysuit and a black bow around her neck. This garment perfectly outlines Anne's slender figure. She gently twisted her waist, and the white twin peaks kept shaking with her movements, as if inviting him to come over quickly. This. Moen's eyes stared blankly upwards, as if immersed in his imagination. If Anne appeared in front of him dressed as a bunny girl, he would definitely look the same as he had imagined. Due to the overwhelming visual impact, his nose couldn't help but bleed a little. Realizing that Anne was still beside him, Moen turned around, trying to conceal the embarrassment on his face. He lifted his arm and casually wiped off the nosebleed under his nose, pretending that nothing had happened. He stuttered. Who tell you that I like black silk? I am a righteous gentleman. Don't talk nonsense. However, Anne had already seen through Moen's thoughts. She looked at Moen with a meaningful smile and said to him, "Has the young master forgotten that I have been taking care of you closely all these years? There are many suggestive novel collections in that locked cabinet. Among them, wearing socks, especially black socks, is the most common type.